And we are on air. Hello, this is just a rant from myself, Mike Cullen, from the northeast of England. Just a rant about social networking and stuff like that, and what does social networking mean to you? How do you promote yourself, if you promote yourself at all? How do you use social networking? Are you a DJ? Are you a musician? Artist? Anything that you do that provides you with a platform to promote yourself is always good. It's always good. So I have to ask the question, what do you use social networking for? I was on Twitter recently, and I was recently followed by Jermaine Douglas, which, as you know, he was the runner-up in the X Factor last year. If you don't know Jermaine Douglas, then do a YouTube search, do a Google search. It will tell you who Jermaine Douglas is. And I find him quite a spiritual person. I think using the word religious is probably the wrong way to look at such a talented individual such as Jermaine. He's a spiritual person, and that's the way that I like to think of him. So I was deeply, how can I say it? I was absolutely astounded, really, when I was followed by Jermaine. Not yesterday, but the day before. I just sent him a nice message saying, I think your album is fantastic. It's the kind of album that sends you on a journey if you listen to it right. People listen to music, they go, yeah, that's alright, or they listen to music for pure pleasure. But if you listen to that album, I think you'll definitely get something from it. If not just the music, I think you'll get something from it. It's got that kind of spiritual feel to it. And I think the best thing about it is that he's been able to liaise on the album with Stevie Wonder, who is just an amazing musician, without question. So I was deeply privileged, I think is the word I want to use, privileged, to be able to have a follower from Jermaine Douglas. I thought it was lovely, really, really nice. So, begs the question, what do you use social networking for? If it's a promotional tool for yourself, or you're just on it just to have fun, then I suppose that's all good. But I think there's some kind of theory when you use things like Facebook and Twitter and Pinterest and Google Plus and all these different social network platforms that you've got access to these days, and it's growing. These things are growing. There's more and more things coming out all the time. Google are expanding the services. Twitter are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, if you'd seen the figure at how much they were worth not long ago, then you'll realise just how much Twitter are worth. It's billions, absolutely billions, and it's good to be such a part of that. And the best thing about things like Twitter and Facebook, it's all free. You don't have to pay anything for it. It's absolutely free. It's free for you to use and to follow people that you want to follow. It's like, when you've always wanted to follow an idol. For example, I've always wanted to follow people from the radio industry who I look up to, or I enjoy their work. That's what I use it for. To be able to promote myself and say, look, I'm just as good as anybody else on the radio. Well, questionable, but if I was just as good as anybody else, I would be on commercial radio by now, but that's not the case. But I mean, that's by the by. But I like to be able to talk to people, to get to know people and stuff, and just have a connection with people. And I guess that's why I use Twitter, to connect with people who you would never thought was possible to connect with, because 20-30 years ago you wouldn't have been able to connect with people like Boy George or anybody else like that. So I think it's a good tool for somebody who are fans of musicians. They could be fans of politicians. They could be fans of anybody in the world. So I guess that's what I use Twitter for. I just want to talk about something else as well. I want to bring up this whole business about what's going on in the Philippines and stuff. And while I feel sorry for the people who are going through the devastation in the Philippines, I think that we as a country, as the United Kingdom and of course the USA, I don't think we should be responsible for helping them out, because the country is in such financial disarray as it has been for quite some time now. It's like we are helping people out, but we can't afford to help each other out in our own country. So where is the money coming from to help other people? That's what I want to know. And also, I want to bring up the fact that the cycling issue that's going on in London. Is there going to be a whole answer to the people that's sadly passed away because of cycling accidents? Nick Clegg doesn't want to implement any kind of rule, for people to undertake tests and things. When you want to drive, you've got to pass a driving test. When you want to drive a lorry or a truck or whatever else, you've got to pass some kind of test. When I was at school, you had to do the cycling proficiency test. So why can't Nick Clegg implement something for everybody? Just the most basic test. When you're on a moped, you have to pass a CBT, the compulsory basic test. So why can't they implement that for cyclists? Don't you think it would make London more safer and the cyclists more safer as well if Nick Clegg actually thought to himself, well, this is a good idea. I think it should be implemented and it should be used. But I don't think he's willing to put any money into such a I call it a useful resource, but he may call it a useless resource. But I think it's a very useful resource. There was millions and millions put into the new stadium which hosted the 2012 Olympics. What's happened to that? Nothing. What's it getting used for? Is it getting used at all? Probably not. I don't know, I just don't get it. I'm thinking about bringing my talk show back to radio, which I've been trying to do for quite some time, but self-motivation has been quite an issue with me lately, and of course not having a job and stuff has also had a lot to do with it as well. So I think that that may be a good idea to bring it back. I'm thinking to myself, well, is the motivation going to be there to be able to bring the talk shows back and to have something to talk about? Now, for inspiration and not for ideas, but just for inspiration only, I've been listening a lot to London's Biggest Conversation, which is a global radio station down in London, in Leicester Square. So I'm taking a lot of inspiration from that station, and hopefully if I can gather some ideas together and gather some topics together, you and I could have a chat about anything you want to talk about. We could do a subject for an hour. I might do a 2-hour talk show. I might do just a 1 hour. But we could get together and just have a conversation about a certain topic that I set, or if you want to set the topic for that hour, you can do that also. Just it's in my mind at the minute. It's in my mind. I'm thinking about it. I don't know what to do yet, but I'm thinking about bringing it back. Like I said, it's been on my mind for quite some time, but as far as motivation is concerned, it's just my motivation is terrible. It is really, really bad. So I need something or someone to help me get this started, to push me, if you like, to really push me to get this done. Well, there was a lady in America of who I was going to do a talk show with, and which never really happened, but that would have been really interesting to get her opinions and her voice on the show that we were going to start. But as I said, nothing came of it, so I don't know what to do about that. It's probably not going to happen now, but just in case it does, then I would love to have her input in there. That would be fabulous. That would be fabulous. I'm also thinking about maybe bringing an internet radio station to the air for the northeast area in due course. That is currently being sorted out. So if you're from the northeast of England and you want to be a part of that, do let me know. If you're a small business who want to advertise for a very, very little fee, then please do get in touch. If you're a radio presenter, you're a DJ, mixed DJ, it doesn't make any difference what kind of music you want to play, it's all welcome. If you know any bands, or if you're a band yourself, you're in a band, whatever, we're also going to welcome that as well. We're going to implement as much stuff that incorporates people from the northeast, and of course if we can bring on people from further afield also, that would be excellent also. So it's just been a little rant, just an afternoon rant on a Wednesday afternoon. Just gone 2 minutes past 4. So yeah, that's been my little rant for this afternoon. Alright, thank you.